All right, let's talk just about a few things here very, very quickly. So one, if you weren't aware, I think August 8th, by the way, if you don't have that on your calendar, just make sure you throw it in there. But let me just double check. Yep, August 8th is our summit that is coming up. It'll be at the Larry H. Miller Center, and where we've had him most of the time. Most of the Everest summits are always there over these years. And then I know that many of you were, I know that if you haven't, make sure that you guys are getting all dialed in for August 1st and making sure you let people know how many tickets and things like that you need for Cowabunga, which is on August 1st. All right, with that being said, let's jump into just a couple of things. And I say a couple of things because they're so critical to the success of real estate agents today. So one of the things that I think is evident to see in today's world is the enormity of distraction that goes on out there. Just ask yourself for a second, how distracted am I? How distracted am I in relationship to this business? How distracted am I in relationship to my personal life? The key to great success in anything that has gone on in life is always a basis of some level of structure. It is an isolation of particular things that we do every single day that become so structured that we can't miss it. So with that being said, ask yourself just a couple of things. What is it that I'm allowing to get in the way? What is it that I'm allowing to get in the way of what I'm supposed to be doing on a daily basis? And the challenge is that it's really easy in today's market and in today's world to let there be excuses as to what we're doing. And look, guys, this has been a conversation with so many agents as of late. And that is them letting themselves get deterred, getting taken off schedule, getting taken off their mark, and getting pulled in every single direction. So there's a little analogy that I want to share with you that I was sharing with an agent even today. And the analogy is this: if you go watch a little video by the late Stephen R. Covey. Stephen R. Covey did a little video years ago, and in his video, what he did is on a table he had a glass jar or a bowl of big rocks. He had an empty glass jar, and then he had another glass jar or another bowl of sand. And as a metaphor, the sand represented all the small things in life, meaning do you have a minute? Hey, can you run this out? Can you do this? Can you do that? The rocks represented the big things of life. It could be time with your children. It could be prospecting, exercise, practice. But the rocks represented the big things in life. The small things, again, were do you have a second? The things that didn't really matter, right? The stuff that no one's ever going to remember, and it's not going to matter whether you did it or did it or didn't do it. So what does he do in this little example, this metaphor, or this example? He takes the bowl of sand and he pours it into the glass jar. Well, it fills up the glass jar pretty full. And then he says, okay, now let's do all this small stuff here. Let's get all these small things taken care of. And then he said, okay, now let's get the big stuff taken care of. And so he starts putting the rocks on top of all the sand, which is a representation of let's do all the small things. Now let's put the rocks on and put the rocks in place and put the rocks in the glass jar. And all of a sudden you start to realize, wait, it doesn't all fit. So of course, that's the metaphor. He reverses the role, and what he does is he takes all the big rocks, he empties out the jar, he takes the big rocks and he sets the big rocks in first. Time with your family, prospecting, practice, lead follow-up, calling your sellers, like the big things that are most critical to this business. So he puts the rocks into the jar, and then he begins to pour all of the sand into the jar again. Well, the cool part is that the entire thing comes together and the entire thing fits into the big glass jar because you did the big things first. And the metaphor is can you get the big things done first? Can you get the most important things done first? And if you can do the most important things first, well, then the small things will take care of themselves. So, because if we step forward and we say, well, what does that really mean? Well, it means, what's the Pareto principle? Well, the Pareto principle is that the top 20% of your activities will produce 80% of the results of your life. Like, whoa, you mean if like 2 out of 10 things on the list are going to produce 80% of the success of my life in business and personally? Yeah, that's what we're going to say. And so the thing is, you start to realize, wait a second here, maybe they're onto something. If I take care of the big rocks, which represent prospecting, lead follow-up, price reductions, all the core, the meat, the big rocks of life that have to get done. If you do those first, and then you pour in the sand, or you do the other 80% of the other things that at some point in the day you'll get done. But the primary focus is the 80% of the things that you don't, 80% of the things that are done because of the top 20%, or you pour in the big rocks first and then pour the sand all around it, it all fits. And that's the key, is it all fits. So then let's go back to this. What are the big rocks of your life? What are the things that absolutely have to get done? What are the things that you absolutely have to do? Now, this is critically important, because if you don't recognize this, I get people saying, well, no, but George, I got to answer my phone all the time. Do you have to answer it all the time? Really? Ask yourself this. Do you answer your phone when you or someone, if you go to church, do you answer your phone in the middle of church? I know you don't. Do you go to a movie? I just went and saw Mission Impossible this weekend. Do you think I was answering my phone in the middle of the movie when Tom Cruise is flying off buildings and leaping over big ravines and driving motorcycles off of cliffs? Do you think that I answered my phone? And do you think I sold myself on a story? Oh, no. I got to answer my phone. I got to give great customer service. Who makes up these rules? Who makes up these rules that you always have to answer your phone? Who makes up these rules that you have to always be available? You don't. You don't. But if you feel like you are, then you have become a slave. And that's the scary part. A slave. You say, what do you mean by that? What I mean is you're a slave. Because here's the one thing a slave can never say to its master. Think about that while I take a drink. What's the one thing a slave cannot say to its master? No. I don't feel like doing that. You can't. If you're a slave, you can't tell your master you don't feel like it. But here's what's interesting. What's the one emotion or the emotion that you have towards a master? Well, if you can't ever say no, what's the feelings you have towards that master? Resentment, anger, frustration, hatred. That's what you start to feel, because that's the reality is you can't say no. You can't say no. So if you can't say no, then what's the feelings that you have towards that master? It's always resentment. It's always anger. It's always hatred. So now we'll go back and now let's ask yourself this question. Do you love the business? Now think about that. Do you love this business? Do you love going to work every day? Do you love what you do today? Well, I can tell you, if you don't, it's because you are not your own master. Something else, someone else, other things outside of you are your master. So if you're committed, let's get serious about saying, okay, who's going to be my master? Well, what I hope is that it's you, that you're truly free, because of the fact that you have mastered this business enough to where you sit back and go, no, I'm going to carry on and I'm going to do the big rocks first. I'm going to take care of the big stuff first. And then all the little stuff will all filter down in between the space and the rocks and the big stuff, because you'll get it all done. But if you get all the small stuff done first, like check that email, call that seller, talk to that buyer, check on that addendum, find out about the home inspection before the big stuff, you're going to be stuck, and you will be dead stuck in this business. You will not get the results that you want because you're mired in deep with all of the noise, the distraction, and the things that everyone else thinks you should be doing. So again, I go back to, if you're going to do this business, give yourself the favor of looking back and saying, okay, what are the big rocks that I need to put in my jar, into my real estate business? What are the big things I need to do first before I look around and go, oh, I better handle all the little stuff first? Now, does that mean that the little stuff isn't important? No, that doesn't mean it's not important. But what it does mean is that you're going to control your time, your energy, your effort. You're going to prospect when you should. You're going to role play when you should. You're going to call your sphere when you should. You're going to do all of those things. Why? Because you have time to do it. Because you've managed your life in a way that allows you to say yes to the big things and no, or, hey, I can do that later, or I'll call you later, talk to you later, do that later on the small stuff. And that's how winning is made in this business. It's handling the big stuff first and then all the minutia, all of the small stuff later. That's the beauty. And when you figure this part out in your business, nothing stops you from prospecting. Nothing stops you from calling sellers. Nothing stops you from doing your lead follow-up. Nothing stops you from exercising. Why? Because the important stuff is done first. And that's what great salespeople do. Okay. So with that being said, let's just remember some of those rocks: prospecting, lead follow-up, presentations, price reductions, negotiating contracts. Those are the meat and the potatoes of this business. Those are the core things that you need to focus on. And if you do, I guarantee you, you're going to have extraordinary success. I mean, not even a doubt in my mind that you will succeed. But if you keep, and so many saying, sacrifice what you want most for what you want at the moment. Now, let me repeat that. Sacrificing what we want most for what we want at the moment is the kiss of death to great salesmanship in business. What I want most is I want success, right? I want this extraordinary success in business. What do I want at the moment? Oh, I want to go to sleep. What do I want right this moment? I want to go play golf. What do I want at this moment? Well, I kind of would like to just go to lunch. Well, if that's what I've got going on at the moment, and if I follow what I'm feeling at the moment, well, then I'll get nothing done. I'll fail at all of it. But if you get serious about what it means to focus, and what it means to focus on the big things of life, the rocks that Stephen R. Covey talked about, putting those into your life, putting those into your jar first, well, then all the other small stuff will come around and you'll be fine. And you'll be happy, you'll be joyful, you'll know your business is going the right direction. I spilled my water all over me, but that's what will happen. So do not underestimate the magnitude of truly being able to focus in on what you want. Now, let me close with this. Again, I repeat, what is the one emotion that a slave has towards its master? It's always resentment. What is the one thing a slave can never say to its master? No, I just don't feel like it. If you cannot say no to clients, I will bet you're in that community of agents that doesn't like what they do. In fact, they hate what they do, and they can't wait to be done with what they're doing. Why? Because they want to get away from something that is their master. It doesn't have to be that way. But I'm telling you, if you do not get serious about mastering your life so that you can master your business, mastering your life so you can master your business, I'm telling you, this will be such a hard business. And in the years to come, third quarter is going to be rough. Fourth quarter is going to be rough. First quarter is going to be rough. They don't expect a reprieve really on interest rates until the first quarter of 2024. So what are you going to do for the next 9 months? Well, I can tell you, if you get serious about this business, refining your mindset, doing the actions and having the disciplines in place, because you have the skill sets in place, every single thing you desire will come about and make it be what you want it to be. That's the beauty of it. Or you can sit back and go, well, I'll just wait. I'll just see. I'm going to be more an observer. I'm just going to look, from afar. But if you get into the fire, the bed of fire and rage and coals, to go win the game, to go prospect when you're being rejected, to go ask the next person, hey, do you have any plans on moving soon in the near future? Just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and see what's possible. See what you can do. Don't you ever, just as we wrap up, don't you ever have the idea within yourself, like, what am I really capable of? What could I really actually do? Who could I actually really, really become? What are my limitations? Have I exceeded them yet? Have I got to the tipping point of, I don't have it to go further? Have you gotten to that point where there's just no more? Because you've achieved it all, you've accomplished all, you found out, man, this is who I am. This is how far I can take this thing. Don't you want to know? Don't you want to change the course of history? Possibly even in your own family, like where an Ed Milet says, you show up and you become the one that everything changes for generations to come because you showed up and you made a living. So much generational wealth because of who you became in this process, because you didn't listen to your limitations. You didn't fall back and settle for mediocrity and easy going. And it's you're on easy street, never driving, pushing, leading, moving yourself, because you want to find out, man, what am I totally capable? What is my max? Where could I go to the furthest levels? Man, I hope you guys figure that out. I think you figured it out in some areas of your life. I just know you haven't figured it out everywhere in your life. And I do know this, that if you figure that out, like, where is it that I can go? Where can I take this? What can my life really become? Am I that one? Am I the one who will totally change the course of history of my world and my family and my friends and my loved ones and who I care for? Could I change the whole course of history because I showed up? Because I put the rocks, the heavy duty, I must do this today. No more negotiations, no more backing down, no more saying yes and no to the things that you shouldn't be. You sit there and go, man, these are the core things. All the other stuff is just noise. But if I do these one key things, prospecting, lead follow-up, all those core things, if I do these things, everything comes together. That is the exciting part of all this. That is why it's just like there are no limitations to this business of what you could do, except the ones we put on ourselves. So don't be that person. Do not limit yourself. Do not allow yourself to back down from everything that's possible, because you are built for this stuff. You are built to do extraordinary things. You're not built to be half-assed. You're not built to be, halfway. You're not built to be mediocre. You're not built to do things just okay. Everything about you is that you are built and created to do extraordinary things. Your creator knows that. I know that. People around you know that. The bigger question, though, is, do you know that? Do you know what you're capable of? Do you know who you could become? That, when someone really identifies with that, not out of pride, not out of ego, not on putting people down, not on destroying other people's lives, like literally, like, what is possible for you? And as you go up, you will bring people up with you. As you rise, others rise with you. You don't push people, force people. That's not how great leaders do it. They don't force, push, manipulate. They lead people there. And if you get serious about what it means to lead, boy, I'd sure encourage you. If you haven't read it for a while, read it again. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. It is a reminder that you will only lead those that you are stronger than. You will only get connected to those that you are better than. Doesn't mean you're more loved by your creator. It just means that you've developed skill sets that are greater than the others. And if you develop the leadership skills, you develop the skill sets of communication, the skill sets of mindset, the skill sets of all the things it takes in this business, people will follow you because you're their first choice. They'll follow you because you will lead them down the path of home ownership or selling their house because they feel most comfortable and confident with you because of who you've become. So as much as you want this business to be about real estate and interest rates and loan programs and what's title doing and what's the mortgages doing and what's the inventory in the industry and how many homes are selling, none of it matters except one thing. You matter. And what you do to go sell something, what you do to go find someone who wants to buy or sell, what you do for the doors you knock, the people you call, the people you make a difference for, that is who signed up. That's why it's the greatest gathering of real estate professionals the world has ever seen. Not because we're trying to be all pompous about it, because when people are collectively together who know who they are, where they're going, what their lives are about, what's driving them, pushing them, and moving them, and them finding who they really are at their core. Wow, am I inspired by those people? Wow. Wow. Look at them. And we are inspired by them because what they did was so extraordinary. But this is the beauty of it. In most cases, it's not a talent issue, it's a discipline issue. And once they have the talent, that's even more to boot. But they can get the talent, right? They can buy the talent. But when you understand that that's how you're going to maneuver this thing, when you can go out and get the talent, get the skill sets, get the disciplines, and everything comes together, man, that's a special place to be. Then you do become the one who sets it all on fire, the one who makes it all happen, the one who changes wealth and even economic wealth for generations to come for those that you love. That is leading. That, man, take that in. That's what it means to lead. That's what it means. So, gang, I am so proud of the people who have figured this out. And if you haven't figured it out yet, you can, because there's nothing you cannot do, and there is nothing you cannot learn. So if you can learn it and you can do it, then go do it. Go become the best version of you and be someone who can say yes more often than no because of who you've become, because of the money you've earned, because of all the things that you're doing, because of the fact that as you become more, you earn more. As you lead more, you earn more. As you develop more, you earn more. Everything starts and stops with you. So here's the point. This is my last point. You're the problem. Remember that. You are the problem. You are the problem. But here's the beauty. You're also the solution. You are the solution. Even if you're in your car, you're in your office, or just say it to yourself. I am the solution. Rates are not going to be your solution. Inventory is not going to be your solution. Just waiting for a business to happen is not your solution. But what is your solution? What is developing yourself to your very best. That is what you can solve. That's the value you can bring. That's the difference that you can make. Just like I did this morning as I walked out of my house at 5:45 this morning, or 5:40 this morning, and I walked out and I looked up at the sky and I said, who's the one I'm going to help today? Who's the one? I'll find them. I'm going to find them. And I'm going to make a difference, because no one's going to be coming to my presence as I'm not making a difference for it. A positive difference, because of the commitment I've made to myself, to who I choose to stay and be, and who I become. And when you make those decisions, nothing can stop you. Stop breathing all the hype. Stop avoiding hard work. Stop doing certain things that are drawing you further and further away from who you're supposed to be, for what you're supposed to accomplish, for who you're supposed to lead, for what you're supposed to say, to what you're supposed to do. Get engaged. Do not back down. Do not back away. Go, and keep going and see what's possible. Find out what is possible for you. And I don't know what's possible for you. because only you will know. But I bet you it'll be pretty extraordinary. I bet you it'll be pretty dang special. And how cool is that? That here you said, not only do you earn all this great money, but you truly get to figure out, who am I? Who am I? Boy, what a beautiful blessing that would be, to know who we are, to have all the money and to know thyself, to know yourself. Man, that sounds good, doesn't it? And what if that was the case? I'll tell you what would happen. Life would be blissful, life would be peaceful, life would be joyful, and life would be happy. That's exactly what would happen. So is it worth it? Hello. Of course it's worth it. But that's only for you to answer. I hope that it is. Guys, I love you. I am grateful for you. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. So grateful. Lourdes, you're there. And that's who else do I got? I got Carla, I got Carlin, Brenda Lee, John, Aubrey. I've got Aubrey of ASIS, and then Ruby, Tia, and then Stephanie Barnes and Zach Baker. Guys, thank you for being on the call. Go make a difference in the lives of other people. And I promise you one thing, you'll make a difference. You'll make a difference in your own life. That's the excellent factors of this business. Help enough people get what they want. In the late words of Zig Ziglar, you will get everything that you want. All right. Love you guys. Have an extraordinary day.